Yo, what's going on, guys? And we are here with my season preview and prediction for the Brooklyn Nets. And of course, Mikal Bridges, Ben Simmons, and Cam Johnson are the new focal points of this team. And before we start today's video, of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this team? Do you think they're a playoff team? I want to hear your predictions for this year's season. How many wins are they going to have? Will they make the playoffs? And what do you expect? I do believe this is a playoff team. I love Jock Vaughn, Rock Chalk, baby. And I really do have high hopes for a basketball squad that I think Sean Marks did an incredible job retooling with what he was given with the trade demands of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant last season. Now, the Brooklyn Nets are obviously, like I said, led by Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Ben Simmons. Those are, two of those guys are the prized acquisitions from that KD trade. And we all know that Mikal Bridges looked like a top 15 player when he was on the Brooklyn Nets, and hopefully that carries over. While Cam Johnson has established himself as one of the best and most reliable three-point shooters in the league at 6'9". And besides that, we have Nic Claxton, who's a dynamic finisher around the rim and a solid rim protector. And while Ben Simmons, their starting point guard, looks to be back in shape. So let's get right into it. Hit that subscribe button. We're on the way to 20,000 subscribers, and it would mean the world. So let's get right into it. On your screen right now, you're going to have yourself see Ben Simmons, Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Nic Claxton, Dennis Smith, Lonnie Walker, Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith, Deron Sharp, Kiefer Sykes, Cam Thomas, Tariq Whitehead, Darius Baisley, Noah Clowney, Armani Brooks, Jalen Wilson, Trendon Wofford, Harry Giles, Jordan Hall, and Patrick Gardner make up the current roster for the Brooklyn Nets. And I definitely think it's going to be interesting to see who ends up making this roster. And I want to tell you, the yellow is guys who are on, exhibit training camp deals. So expect them to be on the G League team, not the actual NBA team, with those guys being like Harry Giles. And the crazy part is the guys that are on non-guaranteed are like Harry Giles, Kiefer Sykes, Darius Baisley, Trendon Wofford, Patrick Gardner, and Jordan Hall are all guys who are going to be fighting for a training camp roster. And the crazy part is supposedly Royce O'Neal's contract's non-guaranteed for this season, which is wild. I did not know that, and I'm very intrigued to see that. So what do I expect from this team? Ben Simmons to be the starter. I honestly think it's going to be, they have Spencer Dinwiddie being a starter. Maybe that works. I personally like the idea because they don't really have a sixth man besides Lonnie Walker. I'd rather have Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench. So I think the starting lineup should be Ben Simmons, Dorian Finney-Smith, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Nic Claxton, with the sixth man being Spencer Dinwiddie. Then you have Dennis Smith, Lonnie Walker, Royce O'Neal, Deron Sharp, Cam Thomas, Tariq Whitehead, and Noah Clowney off the bench. And right there with those guys, if you look at it, that's a team of, they've got between Ben Simmons, Dennis Smith Jr., Lonnie Walker, Spencer Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neal, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Nic Claxton, Deron Sharp, Noah Clowney, Tariq Whitehead, Cam Thomas. Those are 13 guys. They're all guaranteed to make the roster. All right. And now we got to figure out who's going to be on a two-way. So a guy who's going to be on a two-way potentially right here is, it gets difficult. So Harry Giles is actually two-way eligible because they made a rule called the Harry Giles rule, which means Harry Giles can actually be on a two-way contract. So I think Harry Giles is fighting for the third two-way spot. So I think the third two-way will go to Harry Giles, in my opinion. And then the last two roster spots will go to Darius Baisley and Jordan Hall. So I expect the final roster to be Harry Giles, Jalen Wilson, and Armani Brooks as the three two-ways, and then Darius Baisley and Jordan Hall as the last two guys on the roster. And potentially Harry Giles might be the guy on the roster, and then you put Jordan Hall on a two-way. And then you'll have, those guys round out the bottom of the bench. And I don't expect to see much of Tariq Whitehead or Noah Clowney this season, really, unless like an injury happens. Cam Thomas, I want him to be the sixth man, but I don't know if he's in Jock Vaughn's doghouse or not. All right. But this is a team that I easily see winning 40 games, okay? When I look at this roster, I do believe that the Brooklyn Nets have a better team than people are giving them credit for. Like the Brooklyn Nets are not a bad basketball team. And they were a team that last year, I think they went better than, they had a better record, a better year than what people gave them credit for. For a team that lost, their superstars midway through the season, they they still were able to finish 45-37 in a super competitive Atlantic Conference behind. They were 2 games behind the Knicks, okay? 2 games behind the Knicks. So I think this team has done a good job. And when we talk about Jacque Vaughn, so I think this team is going, if they won 45 games last year, I think they can match 45 games. I don't know. Let me do that. Let me redo that take, because I don't know if that was kind of a hot take, guys. That was a hot take. Let me figure out what their record. So the Nets record post All-Star break was, I want to see if can I see what their record was post All-Star break? Nope. I can't see what their record was post All-Star break. So Nets record since the All-Star break, they went 11-13. Oh, that wasn't great. But they lost their first 4 games after the All-Star break. Okay. And they actually went 11-9. So 11 divided by 9, all right, or 9 divided by 11, right? Is that how you figure out percentages? I'm so bad at math. And I typed in 9-11 and it was, all right, so that's 0.881. That's really an 81% of 82. So that'd be, they're not winning 60 games. I just did, because they technically, if you exclude the 4 losses, so they, in the 20 games to end the year, they went 11-9, which isn't bad. It's just hard, man. And I'm a big fan of Jacque Vaughn. Like, he's a guy who takes everything one day at a time, and he appreciates the small things and just to make basketball easier. And his coaching philosophy is, just playing good defense and just, setting up those small things that lead to big results. But yeah, no, I definitely think it's going to be interesting when we look at this team. Like, they're a playoff team. If they're a play-in team, I think it's a disappointment. I just think there's a lot worse squads out there than the Brooklyn Nets. So for me, if I'm them, I'm like, we're a decent basketball team. So I think it definitely gets a bit frustrating for an organization when, I don't know, it just feels like everybody just isn't trying, or not isn't trying, but like there could be, potentially more pieces to the puzzle than we're being led on to. Like, I feel like people are underestimating the ability of this squad. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you guys in agreement with me, or was that just a dumb take? But that's the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy.